Hello, and thank you for listening to Texas History for Kids. I'm your host, Michelle Gallegos, an educator, writer, history nerd, and novice investigator. Each week on the show, we will learn about interesting parts of Texas history, from battles and historical figures to the odd and enchanted. Welcome back to Texas History for Kids Scary Stories series. This is episode number 96, and I'm your host, Michelle Gallegos. Before you listen, don't forget to grab the resources that accompany this episode by clicking on the Resources tab in the show notes. Today's mystery unfolds on one of San Antonio's most historic and haunted streets. Our artifact for today? An empty wooden trunk. Its iron hinges are rusted, its surface scarred by time. Once, it might have held the personal belongings of a Texas empresario named John McMullen, but now it holds only the whispers from the past.
Let me guess, something terrible happened to the guy who owned it?
You could say that, Zoe. This story isn't just history. It's haunted history. John McMullen was born in Ireland in 1785, but his destiny was tied to Texas. By the early 1800s, he'd become a merchant in Matamoros, Mexico. When Mexico's 1825 colonization law opened up Texas for settlement, McMullen saw his chance. So he teamed up with another Irishman named James McMullen, and together they became empresarios, land contractors who brought settlers to Texas. Their 1828 contract allowed them to settle 200 Irish families along the Nueces River.
So they were kind of like early land developers?
Exactly. They personally led their settlers from New York to Texas in 1829, first stopping along Nuestra Señora del Refugio Mission before founding the town of San Patricio. You can also refer to previous episodes about the San Patricios. Now, this place was still proud of its Irish roots. During the Texas Revolution, McMullen joined the General Council, serving as a translator and even as a temporary president in 1836, after Governor Henry Smith's impeachment. Now, after Texas won independence, McMullen moved to San Antonio, serving as an alderman from 1840 to 1844. He built a grand stone house on Alamo Street, nestled along what is now the San Antonio River. And life seemed peaceful until tragedy struck. Hey teachers, parents, and curious listeners, if you're loving this story and want to explore more haunted Texas history, visit txhistory4kids.com. You'll find my Haunted Texas History Bundle, volume number 1, which includes 38 pages of reading passages, comprehension questions, and even Haunted Texas coloring pages. And don't miss your free Haunted Texas mini pack. Grab it through the link in the show notes. It was October 20th, 1853, a night San Antonio will never forget. Robbers broke into McMullen's home on Alamo Street, bound and gagged him, and then they slit his throat during a botched robbery. As he bled out, he was helpless and alone. Something strange was happening miles away. His closest friend, James McMullen, had just returned from an overseas voyage. As he settled into his home, he was suddenly overwhelmed by an unexplainable sense of dread and sadness. Though he told no one, he poured himself a drink and sat silently by the fireplace while his wife stepped into another room. Then moments later, he heard what sounded like an enormous set of wings slamming against his door. A white mist crept through the walls and took the shape of a man. John McMullen was in a blood-stained shirt, silent, and his hands reaching out. James McGloin stood paralyzed, watching the ghostly image of his friend try to deliver a message from beyond. And just as suddenly as it had appeared, the apparition vanished. Terrified and shaken, James quickly mounted his horse and rode straight to San Antonio. He arrived the next morning, but as he neared the city, the distant bells of the San Fernando Cathedral rang out in the night. Something was wrong. Candlelight flickered inside of McMullen's home. Townspeople had already gathered. James's horse began snorting and jerking violently, as if it had also sensed the dread in the air. But without warning, the horse collapsed and died just feet from McMullen's doorstep. And inside the house, the horror was confirmed. McMullen was dead, and officials had already laid him in a coffin. In those days, funeral homes were not used. Instead, the family of the dead person would hold a service right in their home for a few days until it was time to bury them. Whispers swirled amongst the onlookers. Some said McMullen had recently adopted a green-eyed boy from Mexico. Perhaps it was the boy who had killed him. Others believed the child had been murdered along with McMullen. His body weighted and dumped into the San Antonio River. And then there were those who eyed James McGloin with suspicion. How had he known to come? The truth remains a mystery. John McMullen was buried in San Fernando Cemetery in San Antonio, Texas. According to local records and historical accounts, his grave is one of the oldest burials connected to early Texas settlers. Those who walk along Alamo Street after dark say the ghost of John McMullen still roams. His pale figure with blood-stained shirt, holding his neck, searching for justice, or for those who betrayed him. Today, the site where McMullen's home once stood is now called the Briscoe Western Art Museum. It is a beautiful building filled with Western paintings, sculptures, and artifacts, but it's said that John McMullen's spirit still lingers there. Before the Briscoe, this building was the Hertzberg Circus Museum. And even then, strange things happened.
Like what?
Staff members report hearing keys jingling, footsteps on the third floor, and even banging noises on the elevator doors when no one was in the building. An electrician once swore he saw a shadowy figure move past him, and another employee claimed they had seen ghostly shimmer of light on the second floor.
Creepy. Did they ever figure out who or what it was?
Well, not really. One museum employee shared that he once heard his name whispered in his ear when no one else was around. Another time, books fell mysteriously from a shelf on the 5th floor. Even the museum's curator, John Slate, admitted feeling a strange presence. Now, some say it's the restless spirit of John McMullen, still pacing the halls. Others think it might be connected to the old circus collection that once filled the building. Now, either way, Alamo Street's ghosts aren't leaving anytime soon. It's quiz time!
Question 1. Who was John McMullen's business partner who helped bring Irish settlers to Texas?
James McGloin. Together, they founded the McMullen-McGloin Colony and brought 200 Irish families to settle along the Nueces River.
Question 2. What building stands today on the site where John McMullen's home once stood?
The Briscoe Western Art Museum, where visitors and staff still report hearing keys jingling and feeling that McMullen's ghostly presence is still there. Well, I hope you enjoyed the second episode of the Scary Story series. Next week, we're uncovering the mysteries of Texas' most haunted cemeteries. Thank you for listening to Texas History for Kids. Hit that subscribe button and follow the show. More importantly, share it with others who might find it interesting too. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at michelle@thexhistory4kids. And don't forget, the best stories live just beyond the lessons in your classrooms, waiting for you to explore.
Stay curious.